Good afternoon, all. My name is Lester Waller, and I'm here to present to you my quality of character presentation on enthusiasm. Um, start off, I have a picture of Michael Jordan, and it has a quote in regards to what he feels about enthusiasm. I play to win, whether during practice or a real game, and I will not let anything get in the way of me and my competitive enthusiasm to win. That right there says a lot about where I'm going with this um, in regards to enthusiasm. So I hope you sit back and enjoy. Defining enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is intense and eager enjoyment, interest, or approval. And there's three things that I have in regards to enthusiasm. It's an attitude that cannot be taught. Um, It turns hours into minutes, and it can make the difficult seem simple. And I also touched on character as well, since this is a quality of character, and that is just the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Who are you? Uh, how do you treat people? And what do you do when people are not watching? Uh, in regards to enthusiasm being an attitude, if you approach the things that you love and the things that you don't love the same way, with a positive attitude, then sky's the limit for you, and you will do nothing but achieve success. It may not seem that way, but if you have a positive attitude, nothing but positivity can come out of any situation. Uh, Enthusiasm is contagious and it builds morale, and we'll get into that here a little later. Turning hours into minutes, basically making time feel like it's going faster than it is. And on this slide, I won't read it to you, but I do have a picture of a gentleman at work at his desk with his feet kicked up, laid back, sleep, as if he's on vacations, jeans, nice Hawaiian button-up shirt, and flip-flops. And another picture, I have a gentleman in a suit, in a position as if he's about to take off for a race. So, just if you look at that, that says a lot about which one of these gentlemen do you think is really going to achieve something and have a productive journey, either that day, that month, or that year, just based off their attitude and their approach. Making the difficult seem simple. Like I just said, having that positive attitude, I will face whatever comes to me today with a positive attitude. And if you keep that mindset, success is definitely going to happen. As one of my favorite coaches, Jim Harbaugh at the University of Michigan, always says, attack each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. And it's difficult to have that approach. He's probably one of the only people on this earth that genuinely live out that quote. It's difficult to wake up and want to attack each day like that when you're doing this. For the most part, a lot of us do the same things every day. Um, but as I've learned, if you try to improve a little bit every day, then things will get better. If you keep a positive attitude on a daily basis, regardless of what you're doing, things will get better. And also, the great Coach K at Duke, he touched on uh, playing with enthusiasm or showing enthusiasm, especially if you're an older player, if you possess that enthusiasm and show it to the younger players, they will definitely be willing to follow. Uh, Also, in regards to how leaders and coaches should display leadership, players take on the role of or the attitude of the coach. If a coach is nonchalant, not very driven, not very enthusiastic, then you cannot expect your players to be the opposite. They're going to be what you teach them to be. Stepping in as a new coach with a new team, I was able to lay a foundation along with my coaching staff that uh, we wouldn't tolerate laziness, we wouldn't tolerate disrespect, and we were able to achieve maximum success. With that attitude, the players bought into it. They're very, you know, as coaches, we tend to forget that we kind of get lucky sometimes to be able to come across certain groups of players that we don't have to worry about off the field. We don't have to worry about on the field as much. They'll make mistakes because they are kids. They are playing a game. Mistakes happen, but they, they want to be there. They have that positive attitude, that positive outlook, no matter what happens. They're picking one another up, being positive with one another, never belittling one another. And I think that says a lot about myself and my coaching staff as far as how we treat them, how we treat one another, how we treat the administrators in the school, and how we treat our opponents. Uh, Respect and positivity and enthusiasm go a long way with that. And as a coach, at some point you want to be able to step back and allow your players, your leaders to take over in certain situations. You may chime in a little bit, but not as much at a certain point because you want to see what they've learned, if they've learned, and how they go about implementing what you've taught them. In Season of Life, um, there was a point where the coaches were asking the kids what the coach's job was, what their job was, and it was all about the coaches were supposed to love the players, and the players were supposed to love one another. And the way they responded when asked that with all that enthusiasm, I can just picture, that taking place. I can picture being in that locker room, and not I'm not a heavy on reading, but that things like that, and send chills up my spine. It's almost like I get a visual image of um, what exactly was going on at that time. And being a former athlete, I've been in situations like that where you're getting the pregame speech from the coach, and you're getting hyped up, and all the blood is pumping, and you're just ready to go. So that was a perfect example of what enthusiasm is. And to follow along with that, I have a clip from the movie Remember the Titans. For the most part, we've all seen that movie with the racial division on the team, the new coaching staff, and in this scene, how they came together, as the head coach wanted them to, without him even having to say anything. That's part of the whole stepping back process and being able to know that your players have bought into your attitude and they're taking on your persona, and you know they want the same thing you want, and that's nothing but success for themselves. In the Bible, when it talks about enthusiasm, I have a quote from Ephesians chapter 6 verse 7. Work with enthusiasm as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Sometimes we lose sight of why we do what we do, and it should be for those of us who are religious to uh, please the Lord and uh, provide for our families and for ourselves, and do everything uh, in His name. And if we have the enthusiasm and the positivity and keep Him in our mind, then we're able to uh, realize and not let certain things get in the way and distract us from what it is that we're trying to do. In conclusion, and enthusiasm can go a long way. It can make the longest time feel like the shortest time. And like the saying goes, uh, fake it till you make it. Eventually, the enthusiasm will turn into genuine enthusiasm, and it'll make things a lot easier. A lot more positivity and a lot more success will be had if enthusiasm is at an all-time high. Thank you.